Hello, fellow classmates and Dr. Sanchez. My name is Jennifer Lewis, and I'm excited that you've joined me in sharing my graduate research project, Trained Managers Catapult Organizations to Success. Success in business today is based upon a myriad of distinct factors. By preparing those that lead individual contributors who carry out the mission of the organization, a business can be heads and shoulders above the rest. Operationally, the business flow is significantly improved, and innovation occurs when internal stakeholders have the knowledge and skills to fulfill their objectives in line with organizational goals and mission. Managers who engage and lead will see employee satisfaction and confidence vastly improve. Today, I will introduce you to a study on a more in-depth look at pathways on this road to success. Training financial insurance managers that direct individual contributors aids significantly in building confidence and resourceful employees who are empowered and engaged with their individual roles and the organization, leading to success for the organization, its leaders, and the employees. As an overview, we'll start with telling you a little bit today about personal lines insurance servicers, and then roll into how we do train managers for success. The literature review will encompass topics like does training managers pay off, training as a strategy, and impacts on performance. We will wrap up today with discussing limitations, suggestions, and my final conclusions on this topic. Insurance servicers are the go-between from the agent that you buy insurance from and the carriers that issue the policy. Insurance servicers manage all the administrative and financial activities related to insurance policies. Agents request from servicers quotes for their homeowners on certain policies, and once agreed upon, the servicing company then binds the policy with payment. As payments are received from policyholders, funds are then sent to the carrier for policy issuance. Thereafter, a commission is paid to the selling agent and fees are retained for services. Servicing agents also manage the claims process and aid insureds directly with any questions or issues they may have with their homeowner's insurance policy. Managers wear many hats. They must convey an understanding to their employees what they are a part of, creating value and importance of their individual roles. Managers have a responsibility to ensure the connection exists. In Maurice's article from 2019, Accounts Receivable in the Insurance Industry, she illustrates the fact that the insurance industry is thriving, and although the accounts receivable process may seem insignificant, it is an opportunity to seize control of and flourish, exceeding benchmarks with a seamless view from the customer-facing side, while internally having a proactive approach, being on top of the business. This is accomplished through training. Managers plan, organize, direct, and control resources to achieve specific goals. Planning involves the setting of goals for their assigned area and then determining the best way to achieve them. Organizing means allocating resources like people, equipment, and money to carry out the company's plans and production of the work itself. Directing is the process of providing focus for employees and motivating them to achieve organizational goals. Controlling includes follow-up to ensure the plan is carried out in a way where goals are accomplished. Evaluation, a second facet of control, involves comparing actual to expected performance and taking corrective action when necessary. Those goals are very important. This infographic provided by staff in 2021 provides a highlight in the amount of hours managers are trained in the United States. The numbers are staggering, with more than 65% of those surveyed having 8 hours or less of training in each calendar year. The following literature review will illustrate some different perspectives on management training, from the time spent, the topics covered, strategies, and the value added. In 2013, Aragon and Valley completed a study analyzing the effects of training managers in performance. The title of their study was, "Does Manager Training Pay Off?" It's proven that the firms who impose training for those in leadership roles yield higher effectiveness than those who do not. Items like skill level, impact on financial performance, hours invested in training and manager abilities, involvement and innovativeness are higher in firms that make this investment. Management training and management effectiveness are all proven to also have a positive impact as a result of training in the organization as a whole. While the metrics can be scrutinized based upon the time duration of this specific study and the measurements in quantitative data, the study was not specific enough to actually see an impact at a departmental level. Data used for analyzation purposes was much broader and challenging to decipher for specific impact. This study does, however, suggest that the adoption of a system will influence a firm's performance and that content of training is significant, leading to innovation and longer-term yields for the organization. Overall, these researchers definitely state that training and development for managers plays a key role in improving abilities, involvement, and invention. Strategic training is a very different approach to training and development. It actually focuses on the different types of leadership, influences, and allows the organization to better guide their training platform, because different types of leadership have different types of goals. Influences may aid in influencing the current training trends and subject matter. So as we see training plans evolve within the organization, certain influences may fluctuate, then dictating the training materials that are given. In essence, we see business goals have strategic influences of leadership philosophies incorporated with training and developmental goals. These together will impact the individual, the organization, those they serve, and the community. Clark and Higgs did a really fantastic job in putting together this pictorial summarizing the strategic focus and leadership development model that they created through their research. As you can see, it does begin with the business goals. The strategy is a formulation of the training and development goals married with the leadership philosophies of the organization. So when we take the training and development goals, the leadership philosophies, and then combine these with the business goals, we then see who it impacts and how the training will be delivered. Obviously, we can see the impact goes from the individual to the organization and so on and so forth, even spilling into the community. And this could be with even investors and stakeholders. It shows how our training may be delivered to each member. And yes, we do impact the community. The strategic focus to see how the community is impacted with our training is really quite interesting. Also, we can go on and see that the training is very specific on an individual and organization level. And as we go down into the sectoral and community areas, it becomes more of a response and a reaction from who the material is being delivered to. And of course, our training would go from mandatory to our internal stakeholders to maybe not necessarily mandatory, but more of a voluntary buying. You can think of advertising. That's a great way that training delivery would reach our community members. So I feel that this is a great way to exemplify strategic focus and leadership and development. And the importance of training is carried through not only for internal stakeholders, but basically everyone that the institution impacts. And now a review of management training and organizational performance. Sung and Choi did a study in 2018, and they did encompass management training as a whole and saw that performance overall was greatly improved, not only short term, but long term. But what was more interesting was that the participants pointed out that their formal education in business and management has enabled them to realize the importance of employee learning as a whole and job design. Um, First of all, for staff motivation, but more importantly, to manage change more effectively. In today's world where we're socially and technologically so immersed with one another, lines are very blurred. And then when we encompass globalization, we have people working in different countries 24 hours a day. The communication gaps are vast. So having that agility and that ability to manage change on a day-to-day basis or even from project to project is vital to a manager's success and a manager going ahead and making sure that they can funnel that down to their employee. That adaptation is key. And what I'd like to do is bring your attention more to the formal training outcomes survey results. And there's actually a lot of negativity going on here. And it's important to point that out because it shows that most managers, in fact, 60% of managers fail within their role within 24 months. And that in part is due to not having the training in place. Funny enough, if you look to the right of that, 47% of managers don't even receive management training. So they're not aware of how to even take on the task. It's just, oh, here's your role and go ahead and perform. And what's even more interesting is that the number one reason that people leave their employee is because of their leader. And it's probably that one of those 47% leaders, the one who really didn't know how to lead, that's probably a reason for someone to not want to stay because they're not getting the guidance or tools and support that they need. But the most promising thing that we get out of this study is not only the building of the education, but the number one reason people stay in their job is because of their manager. And that is a manager who gives back, one who communicates, one who trains, one who empowers. So I hope and I know that training is a reason why those people say that their manager is number one. While each study provided insight and valuable information on the topic of training managers, there is not just one possible answer. As we have seen the perspectives encompass business views, leadership style, industry, costs, and performance. These vary based upon factors such as the size of the organization. Many of the reviews that we saw today were based on small to medium-sized firms. I'm sure that the data would have had more positive results if we encompassed larger organizations with steadfast plans. Also, as we look to industry, as the picture on the bottom here shows, there are factories and transportation such as jets and aerospace. These industries, I'm sure, have very specific training programs for managers based upon engineering and mechanical specifics, as well as compliance and safety. Even as we consider the medical industry, that would probably be a whole different set of factors and would probably also again skew the results of the data increasing to a positive result for management training. Of course, too, another limitation would be the current internal business climate. This could also attribute to changes within the organization, such as an executive management shift, or possibly even new software or product offerings. A practicing business model, I would have liked to have seen more data based upon online type businesses versus the traditional brick and mortar, which we've seen here. Also, in the studies that we did use today, there were very few that were very job specific. Everything was based on a business using whole metrics, even though a lot of the training was focused on one specific area. These, in a nutshell, would be my limitations. Suggestions for organizations to maximize value would be definitely to provide management training. We've seen that this impacts employee relations, skills, objectives and goal setting, communications. By training our managers, we can also possibly avoid reducing claims and litigation against the organization. And it's also great to know that effective, well-trained managers are proven to improve morale, thereby improving retention, which is critical to a productive workforce. By having our managers well-trained, we breed a consistent management viewpoint and perspective that penetrates all levels. It's great for succession planning. And basically, it gives us a basis of sound management. It's clear objective setting with structured performance evaluation systems and honest and open feedback and communication. It cultivates a direct relationship between the employee, the manager, and the director. And it lays the groundwork on how employees are managed throughout the entire organization. In response to our specific hypothesis, this is organizational specific. I've created a training map to aid with training the financial managers, including an organizational overview, time management, training the trainer, keeping them current on industry updates, cross-training with other departments, and of course, then the specific things that are vital to their success in their departments. Of course, the key to all of the organizational suggestions are communication. A smart organization makes an investment in training and development as part of the human resource management process, keeping pace with external influences such as technology and current employment trends. With globalization and the demand for e-based training, communications must be strong and organizations must be in tune with their employees, reflecting the value they have in human capital and those that they serve. Management training programs improve engagement, succession planning, productivity, bottom line profit. They breed consistency, they improve customer satisfaction, and create a better workplace environment. Training must be a continuum where organizations continually reevaluate programs with the evolution of business. In a broad perspective, it's recommended that organizations take time to complete a needs analysis, review strategic vision, and find a training program that will allow the organization's needs to be met, as well as being forward thinking about the future. An ongoing model with constant reassessment, a full training program designed for the complexities and agility of the business. More specifically, in meeting our hypothesis, it is recommended to complete a needs analysis and review the strategy for the organization. Have a meeting including a sampling of the organizational population, having business metrics and an open forum discussion. Human resources can assist by building in training to the evaluation model, making it a requirement for the managers to fulfill and include in goal setting. Thank you for joining me today. The following 2 slides encompass the references used to put this presentation together.